and why Freddy Adu never became the next Pelé. In 2004, a 14-year-old walked into Major League Soccer carrying expectations that would have overwhelmed an experienced international. Freddy Adu was not simply presented as a talented American teenager. He was promoted as the player who could transform soccer in the United States. He appeared on national television, signed major endorsement deals, and even filmed a commercial with Pelé. Before he had completed a full professional match, the comparison had already been made. This was supposed to be America's Pelé. For a while, the prediction did not sound completely ridiculous. Adu had extraordinary balance, imagination, and control for his age. He could glide past older defenders, disguise passes, and create something from almost nothing. The European clubs knew his name before most American fans had seen him play, but the future that looked inevitable never arrived. Instead of Barcelona, Manchester United, or the World Cup, his career became a journey through short contracts, loan moves, unsuccessful trials, and clubs spread across several continents. So how did the most famous teenager in American soccer history become one of football's greatest what happened to? Stories. Fredua Koranteng Adu was born in Tema, Ghana on the 2nd of June 1989. His family moved to the United States when he was 8 and settled near Washington, D.C. Freddy quickly dominated players. Several years older, American scouts brought him into the national youth setup, and by his early teens he was training at the IMG Academy in Florida. And at the 2003 Under-17 World Championship, the 14-year-old scored 4 goals. The attention grew faster than his game could develop. At 13, Adu reportedly signed a $1 million endorsement agreement with Nike. He appeared on 60 Minutes, late-night television, and magazine covers. MLS was a young league searching for a crossover star, and Adu looked like the perfect answer. Talented, charismatic, and young enough to represent an entire future. That was the first major problem. Freddy Adu stopped being treated like a prospect and started being marketed like a finished product. DC United selected him with the first pick of the 2004 MLS Super Draft. When he made his league debut, he became the youngest player in modern American Major League sport. 2 weeks later, aged 14 years and 320 days, he scored against the Metro Stars. Every appearance became an event. Crowds followed him, reporters waited for him, and advertisements placed him beside Pelé as if greatness could be transferred through association. Inside DC United, coach Piotr Nowak had to win matches rather than satisfy a marketing campaign. Adu was still learning how to defend, position himself, and survive the speed of the senior game. Nowak often used him from the bench. In his rookie regular season, Adu appeared in all 30 matches but started only 14. He scored 5 goals and supplied 3 assists. Excellent numbers for a 14-year-old, but ordinary numbers for someone advertised as the next Pelé DC. And United won the MLS Cup that year, giving Adu a championship medal in his first season, but sponsors and visiting fans demanded to see him while the coach selected on merit. Instead of developing quietly, every disagreement became evidence either that the coaches were holding back a genius or that the teenager had developed an ego. The truth was less dramatic. Adu was a gifted young player placed in an almost impossible environment. He improved over 3 seasons in Washington. By 2006, he was starting regularly, recording 2 goals and 8 assists, and earning an MLS All-Star selection. But his best position remained unclear. Adu wanted to play as a free number 10. Coaches also used him on the wing, where his defending and lack of elite senior pace could be exposed. At the highest level, a creator must also press, defend, and make decisions at extreme speed. Adu's technique was real, but technique alone could not complete that transformation. In late 2006, DC United traded him to Real Salt Lake, where he could play in his preferred position. The stay lasted only 11 league matches before another brilliant youth tournament changed his direction. At the 2007 Under-20 World Cup, Adu reminded everyone why the excitement had started. Captaining the United States, he scored a hat-trick in a 6-1 victory over Poland and helped defeat a Brazilian side filled with future stars. Surrounded by players his own age and trusted as the creative center, Freddy looked special again. Benfica paid a reported $2 million to bring him to Portugal. Adu was 18, moving to a historic European club, and appeared to have found the perfect next step. He even contributed when given opportunities, scoring 5 times in 20 appearances across all competitions during his first season. Stability disappeared almost immediately. Benfica changed coaches, and the manager who approved Adu's signing left. Then came the decision he later identified as one of his greatest mistakes, leaving Benfica on loan after his first season. He joined Monaco but made only 9 league appearances, all as a substitute, and played fewer than 200 minutes. Monaco rejected the option to sign him, and he returned without a role or momentum. One loan became another: Belenenses in Portugal, Aris in Greece, and Çaykur Rizespor in Turkey. There were occasional flashes, but every restart brought a new coach, language, and tactical demand. Instead of developing over several seasons, Adu was constantly auditioning for his next chance. There were moments when the old talent returned. Adu debuted for the senior United States team at 16 and eventually collected 17 caps. He impressed at the 2008 Olympics and after a long international absence helped the United States reach the 2011 Gold Cup final. For short periods, his passing and confidence still suggested a revival. That year, Adu returned to MLS with the Philadelphia Union. He was only 22 but was already discussed like a fading veteran. He produced clever moments without becoming the consistent centerpiece Philadelphia wanted. And Adu later acknowledged that he had not worked hard enough during parts of his MLS career. Talent kept opening doors, but every club now demanded more. Philadelphia moved on in 2013. Adu then traveled through Brazil, Serbia, Finland, and the lower divisions of the United States, including spells with the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Las Vegas Lights. In 2021, a comeback attempt with Österlen in Sweden ended before he made a competitive appearance. By then, the question was no longer whether he would become Pelé. It was whether he could find a stable place in professional football at all. There is no single explanation. At 14, Adu needed patient coaching and permission to make mistakes. Instead, he had endorsements, media obligations, and responsibility for selling a league. And MLS also lacked the academy system it has today. A modern prodigy can develop inside a professional structure and progress gradually. Adu moved directly into a senior dressing room because the league needed a star immediately. His choices mattered too. Leaving Benfica and moving constantly denied him continuity, and Adu accepts that his work habits were not always good enough. Tactics also worked against him. He was most dangerous as a free number 10. While elite football increasingly demanded pressing, flexibility, and physical power, he was not quite a winger or central midfielder, and not productive enough as a second striker to justify building a team around him. Confidence mattered as well. Then for somebody raised to believe he was the future, every benching became a crisis and every loan felt like a final opportunity. The cheerful, fearless child gradually became weighed down by criticism and expectation. Early success may also have hidden weaknesses that would normally have been corrected in an academy. Adu could beat youth defenders through superior control and anticipation, so he did not always need the off-ball movement, defensive intensity, or physical resilience demanded by senior football. Once those advantages narrowed, improvement required slow, repetitive work, but his career rarely gave him a quiet season in which to do it. That explains why his performances could look so different. When a national youth team trusted him, gave him the ball, and built attacks around him, he could control matches. When a senior club needed him to earn a narrow role immediately, he often disappeared. The talent had not vanished overnight. The environment changed while the rest of his game had not developed quickly enough to follow it. Old rumors about his age were never supported by evidence and do not explain the documented problems. The real lesson needs no conspiracy. Football treated a child like a global product, then blamed him for developing like a human being. Freddy Adu did not become the next Pelé because nobody could. Pelé was not a development target, he was a marketing slogan. The gap between gifted professional and all-time great is enormous. Reaching the top requires talent, coaching, timing, tactical fit, discipline, stability, and luck. Adu never had all of them together for long enough. His career was not nothing. Adu won an MLS Cup, played more than 100 MLS matches, represented the United States, and scored in European competition. The disappointment exists because the prediction was so extreme now retired. He can see how American soccer has changed. Clubs invest more in academies, and teenagers are no longer expected to save an entire league. Perhaps that is Freddy Adu's real legacy. He did not become the player America imagined, but his experience helped reveal how not to handle the next one. The saddest part of his story is not that he failed to become Pelé, it is that a 14-year-old was never allowed to be Freddy Adu. They may leave the spotlight, but their stories never disappear. This was Where Are They? Tell us who we should cover next and subscribe, because every name has a story.